Here is an overview of today's talk. We will start with the program and the team, and we will continue with participants, methodology, tools and design, and the design of this program, how we kept motivating our participants, and our future plans. East Meets West is actually a virtual exchange program on minoritized language and culture. We focused on language rights, cultural patronymy, and minoritized people. It was an extracurricular program for our students, and it was a collaboration between University of Groningen and University of Warsaw. The main instructors from University of Groningen were Matt Kohler and me, and from University of Warsaw, Justina Olko. Sake Jaeger and Angelos Kosamides were the virtual experience experts who helped us design our activities. Our participants from the University of Groningen were mainly bachelor students, and from the University of Warsaw, master students and PhD candidates. We had lecturers and invited speakers from both universities. As far as our methodology, it actually had two phases. The first phase was mainly seminar session and activity session. The seminar session was an hour and a half, like 1 hour of presentation and half an hour of discussion. And the activity session was again an hour and a half, where in that time, the participants could discuss the activities objectives. They could work on their activities, and they can of course share the spotlight where they could talk and showcase what they have found. The word spotlight is not so random. You will see later why we call it like that. Second, we have the second phase. The second phase actually started around at the half of our program. There we introduced virtual reality during our activity sessions. The seminar sessions were still the same. And during our virtual reality sessions, the students had the opportunity to visit museums. They could bond with each other via activities with 360 videos. 360 videos are videos where you actually feel you are inside the video. So wherever you move your head, you feel exactly like you are in the video. And they traveled a lot via Google Earth. Yeah, this is a photo explaining how our participants were looked like at that point. The tools and our design. The tools we used for the seminar session was the Zoom meetings where of course, we had a presenter who was sharing their screen, giving their presentation, and anyone could ask questions by raising their hands. For activity session, we decided to use another tool, GatherTown. And actually, I'm gonna take you around to see how we designed it. Okay, we have to press some buttons before we start and allow some other stuff. Yeah, that's me with a very bad hair day. Oh yeah, so this is our classroom. In this classroom, actually, you can see how exactly it was. We love this tool because in GatherTown, first, it gives you like a more gamified vibe. The breakout rooms were incorporated very organically. So this means that you can see and talk only with the people that they are immediately close around you. And if you wanted to have a personal discussion with someone, you can just go in one of the smaller tables and have a discussion. Only the people on the table on this specific area could see and hear you. When we had a more like a discussion or a showcase, we could move to the more lecture area where there were a lot of people could hear you. And that's the reason we actually said we have like a spotlight session, because here it is called a spotlight. And when you're standing in that specific point, everyone in the whole room can see you and hear you. We went a little bit over the talk, and here you can see we designed a black replica of University of Groningen campus Friesland. So when you enter, you just get in there and then you move to your classroom. As for the activities, our activities, we decided to share them because you share them via Google Class. We created a Google Class because it was quite hard to have one room where both universities could collaborate and have like specific assignments. So we decided to create a Google Class where all our students had just to register and they will receive our notifications. Here is a view of our Google Class. Here we could discuss with students. We were making our announcements, when, what, and when we do what we do. Here in the classroom, they could find presentations of our from the seminar sessions or the activities. Now, as for the design of their activities, what is quite new in our activities is the way we decided our students to, and participants in general, not just students, our participants to submit their assignments. Because, as I said before, this program was working as an extracurricular course. We didn't want to give too heavy assignments where they had to write a lot of pages. And we were like, okay, let's keep the gamified attitude. And now with all those social media, and we know that a lot of young people are very into Instagram and TikTok. They really love to do videos and photos. We decided to follow their interests and unlock their creativity. So, for example, we had activities like interview your fellow students, or a treasure hunt, or create questionnaires. And we told them that you can deliver them in different formats, like a story or a reel, like a small video, like a blog post, nice, old-fashioned, but a lot of people are really interested in doing those things too. And the last and very fun way was the podcast, because who doesn't hear a podcast at night before they go to sleep? So they kind of get really, really creative on how they deliver their assignments. For the second phase, when we had like the virtual activities, we used Oculus Quest goggles, and some of our main virtual reality activities were the following. It was visit the Anne Frank House Museum. The participants had the opportunity to show us around their hometown, where they grew up, or other places that they were very important for them. They visited their fellow universities via 360 YouTube videos, and last and the most funny one was virtual meet in Outspace. Outspace, it is an actual application from Microsoft where you can create your own room, as you see here. This hand is my hand actually, trying to reach out to a student, Nelia, and give a handshake. It was super fun. It was super real. Suddenly, we were not anymore like in a video call, but we could touch and play with each other. How we kept motivating our participants. The spotlight moments in Gather Town and in seminar sessions were very helpful because the students and were able to showcase whatever they liked, whatever they learned, yeah, they had their own time of expressing what they liked or didn't like from what they saw. We also decided to share their activities output in our program's website. So we told them that whatever they do, if they feel so proud and they really like it, and they allow us, we will populate the website of our program. And here it is. Oh, I see myself here. And here at the output page, you can see our activities. See how they decided to interview their fellow students. So one is a podcast style, and the other one is like a reel or a story. Here we had a showcase, so a spotlight moment where actually our student Nelia decided to jump in the seminar session and share her findings about, if I remember well, the sound of Hawaii. And here you can also see videos that we took with the virtual reality goggles. So another way, of course, the virtual reality experience was completely something that really motivated our students to join. They really wanted to leave it. They really wanted to see how it was. Last but not least, and very, very important, was that we created a very safe space to express and share their thoughts in their own personal way. Now, as for our future plans, we try to, what we want to do is try to synchronize the academic terms during the programs, because the University of Warsaw had bigger terms than the University of Groningen. Create a virtual reality meeting room like Gather Town, but this time it will be in a VR meeting room. We would like to embrace the virtual reality material on language heritage, and this means actually to engage more students in scanning and photographing cultural heritage artifacts. We would love to develop a website to post 2D or 3D digital cultural heritage artifacts. We would also like to nurture a community of online users with interest in 3D digital cultural heritage artifacts and design online activities that increase users' awareness of cultural heritage topics. That's it. Thank you. Me and Constantinos and Angelos are ready to hear your questions. And thank you for listening.
Thanks for this video. There are some people who joined a little bit later. So if you maybe could remind who were the students your presentation was about.
Yeah, give me a second so I can also share now the actual presentation. Give me a second.
Yeah, of course.
Just doing something wrong here. Here's the presentation. Yeah, it's going here. Okay. Could you repeat again your question? Because I kind of...
Yeah, for people who came in a little bit later, if you could say a little bit more about the students who are participating. What did they study? Did they all study the same thing, the same level? Just a little bit for everyone who missed that very beginning.
Yes. So we have different people. The population was quite diverse. From the University of Groningen, we had bachelor students from the class language and linguistics in University of Groningen. Sorry, my fogginess. And from the University of Warsaw, there were master students and PhD candidates. They were following a seminar related to cultural heritage. And the reason why we decided to have such a diverse participants with diverse background was to create, you know, how can I say it? To make them, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Well, I can help perhaps.
Thank you. My blackout.
Yeah, of course,
I'm
go for
sorry.
Okay, so yeah, basically that was a virtual exchange project. So we tried to match two different classrooms from our university and a university in Poland, Warsaw, and the topic of the study was similar. So both classes, both students, both cohorts could have an international experience as well.
So they also kind of
Yeah.
shared the curriculum, that they share the stuff they are learning about.
No.
Not the same curriculum, but similar topic.
And what was the topic exactly?
The topic of study was cultural heritage.
Yes.
Like in a broad sense.
Yes.
Yes.
And the fact that the participants had different background, like if they were like bachelor students or master students or PhD candidates, it was to help like the bachelor students see how is the research, and the researcher will get more inspired from questions that younger people may have. So it was more like communicating and exchanging ideas and knowledge between them in a nice way.
And the choice of the countries, because you both work at the University of Groningen, why did you choose to partner with Warsaw? Was it because of the program, or was there another motivation?
Basically, this kind of collaborations, virtual exchange, it happens between teachers. So it's through, let's say, academic networking. So I can speak from the side of our teacher, let's say. So he, from some conference, I assume, he happened to know the colleague from the University of Warsaw, and they had a good, let's say, collaboration on something, and they decided to do a virtual exchange as well with their classroom. So it's also about chance, let's say. So someone from the network of the teachers.
So like there's an element of serendipity, let's say.
Yeah.
Then you're right with it. Okay, cool. And you mentioned really a lot of tools you used to make this virtual exchange happen and work over time. Which one would you really recommend to other people who would like to run similar activity?
It depends. It depends on what you want to do. Zoom is nice. It works. It has good, what's the word? Additions like raise your hand and this type of things. We particularly liked GatherTown, and let me go back. I can show you again in real life right now how GatherTown was. That one had, more like that game vibe. You are that small person there. This is actually our university, and today I am actually sitting there in that project room. I take the stairs upstairs, and where you see living lab was our I got stuck on a wall. We had this beautiful lecture room where actually what we really loved, I really loved about this room is, as I said in the beginning, that the breakout rooms are very well or very organically placed. So we created different tables where you can have like small meeting rooms. So when you are sitting on this table, you can hear and see like videos, like video call, only the people that they are in this table. And maybe you wanted to have something more private, and as many positions there are only those people can hear and listen to you. So here only me and someone else who is going to sit next to me could see and hear me. There were moments that we were having lectures or like other people coming to help the participants with their assignments. So we were doing our announcements here at the spotlight, so everyone in all breakout rooms could listen to us, and maybe here we could also show the presentations of the students, whoever wanted to share their assignment. Yeah, so I really enjoyed, and the students really enjoyed this one because exactly of the breakout rooms, and yeah, it was nice.
And how did you arrange the logistics about it? Like, did you tell everyone to be in the gather town at the specific time?
Yes.
How did it work? Was it like real being at the university, but then in gather town?
Let me, yeah, here's the presentation. As I told before, we had the Google Class. So in the Google Class, we had this like the stream where I was making the announcements and I was telling them we were always having like the same link. So since you have it once, they bookmark it and it is okay. But every time that we had a session, I was letting the participants know about the day, the time, just as a reminder. And then I was giving them always the link just to be sure that they are not going to lose their way. And every time that I post something here, the students were receiving a notification in their email. Yeah. Something else?
Peter, I see your comment about the gather town. Would you like to add anything?
Anything more? Sorry, my comment, I have a comment here.
No, this is for Peter.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Oh,
Yes.
just, yeah, Peter.
I just want to say I'm in the silent room, so I can look for another room so that I can speak.
Okay, I give you a moment to find another room. Sorry. And one more question for me. Did the students also got assignments like to work together in a smaller groups, which were kind of international, or did they always work as a big group?
Yes, actually, they could work in smaller groups, like from 2 to 4 people. The point was always the groups to be at least one student from the one university and one student from the other university. So it was always like this, and depending on the assignment, they could decide by themselves how they wanted to deliver, or if they wanted, for example, to deliver the same assignment let's say that one of the assignment was interview your fellow student. So we gave them the freedom to be in a group, but also deliver, each one of the two students, let's say, could deliver the same assignment with a different way. So actually, I have an example in the website where one student decided to create something like a story, like an Instagram story with small bubbles. Let me, I'm sorry, here it is. Here in the output. So it was Nelia and Suzanne, two of our students. So Nelia decided to create these beautiful stories, and she wrote her interview this way. And then you see my name there, but actually Suzanne gave me her questions and answers with Nelia, and I just zip them up in order to have them in a university SoundCloud. And Suzanne gave it as a podcast. So you can, if you press play, you can hear actually the presentation. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. And did you experience any difficulties coming from the fact that the students worked in two different locations and they partnered only virtually?
Not at all. Actually, it was so much easier to do it in Gathertown because I could be in one place, and everyone was there. But exactly because we had the breakout rooms, they could take their table. I wasn't bothering them. They weren't bothering me. When there were questions, they were coming. We were moving around. It was very smoothly. Going very smoothly.
Nice to hear. And on your last slide, you showed that you have like very ambitious future plans. Could you tell a bit more about that?
I can take over here. So we are trying to, actually we submitted an application for another virtual exchange to begin in end of January this academic year. In this virtual exchange, we plan to use more of virtual reality technology. And we are going to collaborate with a university at the United States. But since it's only the application now, we can't be sure whether it will happen or not.
I see a question from Lutz. Was it once-off exchange? So if it's for the same group of students, from what I understand, it's once-off, but you want to repeat the experience in a bit of a different setting, right?
If it means if Lutz means that if the same students will do the exchange, no, because the exchange will have, if let's say that we get the funding to do the exchange again, it will happen with another cohort of students, the same course but another cohort.
Yeah, so kind of another year, because the other ones would graduate.
Yeah, exactly.
And and from the point of view, like of your work and the university, is this valuable comparing to just running your course at your university? What's the added value of having this international aspect?
Well, especially for any subject, I could say we have a few virtual exchanges running for languages, which is the benefit is obvious, but also in other disciplines like the course that Matt was teaching. So students can have an international experience and also discuss issues related to the topic of the course with other students. And this adds not only the experience of having a different opinion on the matter, but also having the experience of discussing with other students, so it increases their motivation. Hopefully, not for everyone, but hopefully it increases their motivation.
Plus, because we also used in our second phase the virtual reality goggles, and yeah, maybe here you can see my my hand. When me and the students get into that virtual room, it was very different experience, because everyone right now, because of COVID, we are kind of used to be behind our screen and see each other and don't know if they have feet or not. But the moment that we stepped into the virtual reality meeting room, the first thing I actually did with the students was like, we tried even to shake hands. It was so super weird, because everywhere we were moving our head, we could physically feel that we're not in our room anymore. We were somewhere else. We were somewhere special. And especially after that session, our bond with the students increased drastically, and that's why we also decided to use those sessions more for bonding, and some of our assignments were like, show us your hometown, show us something which is important for you. And we found different applications, as I said, like Google Earth, Google Maps, and the student was giving us the link, and everyone was entering into that link, and suddenly we were in a different country, and wherever we were looking around, we could see where other people have lived, and they could actually narrate our tour to the new city, which was incredible. It took like the whole experience to the very next level, especially when all those happens, we were still having issues with COVID. So it had a big adding value, especially at this time of the year I spoke about.
Yeah, so like in the time of COVID, I totally get that it kind of replaced the real experience that you cannot have.
Yeah.
But when you can travel from Groningen to Warsaw, it's not very far. It's a flight. Do you think it's something that would motivate people to maybe meet in the real time? Would they need it, or is it something that it's just equally good and replace the kind of face-to-face interaction?
I would say that we're trying, it's a very good question, but we're trying to compare different things. Like if for example, I can convert the question just to play with the idea whether we prefer, now that COVID measures have lifted up, whether we prefer online learning or face-to-face learning. So each one can give different, let's say, things to learning. So in that case, as regards the virtual exchange, I'm very much in favor of virtual exchange, because yes, we can say that, yeah, we can travel to Warsaw, but in order to travel to Warsaw, we need a lot of money for the tickets, for hotels, for everything, organizing and so on. Whereas this can happen very easily through internet. On the other hand, yeah, I can't really say that it gives the same, let's say, experience compared to face-to-face teaching, like bringing students to another country and living there for some days and so on. But this cannot happen always. So it's a good alternative, I would say, to taking students and moving them to another country, because this is not always possible for many, many reasons.
Spirata, anything to add here?
No, I totally agree with Angelos, and to be honest, sometimes those programs, it's not it is, of course, about the money. It is quite expensive, but sometimes there are no facilities, or sometimes, for example, with the war right now, if, let's say, we want to exchange with people in China, you have to do like a completely different travel with the aeroplanes. You cannot travel above Russia. So it solves a lot of problems like this, like obstacles, I could say, not even problems. They are small obstacles. It is a nice alternative. I do love face-to-face, but VR is a nice experience, and the way I felt it with the students and how I bonded with students that I have never met in real life. I believe that the virtual reality way is equally nice and equally beautiful as the face-to-face.
I found it very interesting about you naming all the obstacles, because of course it's not the same experience as face-to-face, but if maybe in the future you have to think more about sustainability, it can be that it's just good enough alternative to travel, which is not sustainable, not good for the planet, costly. So this was really interesting. I also saw that you have quite ambitious plans about scanning, digitizing stuff, putting together a platform. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, this again goes to whether we will get the funding to start doing this project. But the thing is that although it seems very ambitious, the technology already exists. Actually, we are planning to, one of the ways at least, that we're going to scan 3D objects is by using, let's say, common phones. So students could use their own smartphones in order to scan objects. When I say scan, it's actually taking many photos of the same object through a particular technique, with a particular technique, and then the software of the mobile, the application, convert this series of images, let's say, to a 3D object. So the technology is already here. It can be used, let's say, quite easily with some training, and then students will just have to upload these 3D artifacts on an online web page where this facility to host 3D objects is offered for free. So although it appears quite ambitious, on the other hand, it's not that, let's say, difficult or challenging.
And what kind of artifacts do you have in mind?
Well, for this question, perhaps the teacher himself could be more, let's say, appropriate to answer. But from what I heard is both cultural artifacts in terms of historical meaning and value, but also modern ones. When I say modern ones, could be something that is very how can I say? Perhaps a monument of a recent, let's say, president, or perhaps something that is very common. I don't know. Let's say McDonald's. The McDonald's sign could be a modern cultural artifact. Although I hate McDonald's, but that's the example that came in my mind related to the United States. Sorry.
And I think I also have seen, to give you like an image or of something like that, you can search a VR application in your phone, and it is a National Geographic one, where you can see like a coffin, like an Egyptian coffin, not coffin, how I don't remember the word in Possíveis sarcófagos. Anyways, and you can see it actually, you use your phone, and it places the artifact in your room, real time, and you can just swipe on your phone. You can see it like standing on your table, and you just go through it, and you can have zoom ins, zoom out, and yeah, it's something like that. But I mean, feel free to try that application. It's from National Geographic.
I will try the app, sure. And about the website. So imagine you scan some 3D stuff with the app, you put them on the website. What then? What would you like students to do? What do you like visitors to do with this website?
So, so this website is actually is functioning like all modern websites. So users can comment, discuss things. So we will have activities. I don't know what kind of activities now, but let's say that students will have, first of all, to describe the digital, the cultural artifact. So what we see, where they took this this scanning, what it represents, and then because we are talking about two different cohorts from two different countries and quite far ones. So one will be in the Netherlands and the other one in the United States. Then we'll have questions from one side to the other, like why this is important, how perhaps the other side feels or thinks about this cultural object, what it reminds them, and so on.
Thank you very much for this presentation, for showing the virtual exchange as an alternative for the real one. And we are curious about the next cohorts and the new generations of the students. Good luck with the funding, and thank you.